Good morning, I'm Pastor Phil, and we are here today outside the door at St. Paul's. It is wonderful to have you here. Good morning, I'm Pastor Phil, and this is Morning Meditation. Have you ever tried to adopt someone? I did. I actually adopted my daughter some time back, and it's an absolutely joyful thing. I don't regret doing it all, ever. Even when she's a little ornery, it just reminds me that nature can have an effect on the biology of a person, and I thank God that my daughter is in my life. But the thing is, we also hear inside of the book of Galatians how we are adopted by God. And it's here that we're going to take a moment and dwell today. This is Galatians chapter 4, beginning with the first verse. Now I say, as long as the heir is a child, he does not differ at all from a slave, although he is owner of everything. But he is under guardians and managers until the date set by the Father. So also we, while we were children, were held in bondage under the elemental things of the world. But when the fullness of time came, God sent forth his Son, born of a woman, born under the law, so that he might redeem those who were under the law, that we might receive the adoption as sons. The one thing that stood out for me when I was adopting my daughter is it was an act of will. It wasn't something that you enter into lightly. It isn't something that you enter into inadvisedly. It is intentionally, purposefully an act of will. Going through the court system, we had a lady whose title was guardian ad litem, that her responsibility was to interview Lily's biological father and me and my wife in character references, if I remember correctly. And her goal, her job, was to defend my daughter, to make sure that the right decision was made. And then it went to court. And when it went to court, there was a judge, and there was motions that could be made by either party in terms of speeding things up or prolonging them or whatever. But no matter what occurred, ultimately, adoption is an act of will. It's an act that requires intentional purpose in order for it to occur. Now, as we keep that in mind, we hear Paul tell us how God sent forth his Son, born of a woman, born just at the right time, in order that we would be adopted as the sons and daughters of God. We hear in the life of Jesus the work that he's done for you and for me, and as we hear this work, we come to understand a very simple reality. God's adoption of you was an intentional act. He didn't do it because it was Friday night and he had nothing else to do. He didn't do it because he was bored. Instead, the same way that my adopting my daughter was an intentional, purposeful act, God's love for you and his adoption of you is a purposeful, willful, intentional act. When he set forward in Genesis 3 to redeem you, he did it with a desire to make you his own. You weren't second best. You weren't the decision that he took because there were no other decisions. Instead, God loved you so much that he put everything into saving you and making you his own. As we close up today and contemplate the depth of the reality of the love of God, that he worked hard in order to make you and make me his, we rejoice knowing that he has that kind of love for us. And we go into the world showing that kind of love to our neighbors around us. It's not going to always be easy, but it is an intentional act of will. God bless you. Go forward into the world remembering who you are, that you are an adopted child of the King. God bless, and we'll see you then.